I am Nikki Gilbert Daniels, and this is season 4 of Divas and Cocktails. I have to my right author, inspirational speaker, advocate, motivator, the whole 9 yards, all day, everything, Miss Angela Sin.
I hope that you guys can take something from my life story that'll help you become critical thinkers.
And to the right of Angela, she's the mother of 2 very beautiful girls.
2 girls.
Yeah, absolutely smart, doing well in school and making it happen. She's also one of the inaugural stars of From the Bottom Up.
I was going to say,
Yes, indeed.
It's called doing the work. You got to do the work.
Detroit sister, Detroit versus everybody.
Hey.
He is in the building.
Why they come together and always say Detroit versus everybody? But go ahead.
Well, we say this.
Christine's name is on the line. I'm from Detroit, man. Detroit versus everybody.
To my left is my sister, Detroit sister. When I call Shanita, listen.
Me put together what a major fundraiser like this would look like. Man, I'm anything Detroit. I'm not about to be on TV embarrassed about no damn charity. This is my real life.
She says it like she means it. She is a philanthropist. She goes hard. She travels the world all the time. Every time you look up Shanita in Africa or Europe or Asia or whatever, changing the world, Shanita Foster.
Detroit versus everybody.
And we have a little studio audience as well, so let's give it up to our studio audience. This is a beautiful, wonderful thing. So ladies, let's just get right on into this. I'd like to start this segment off and call it Toast or Boo. So I want each of you to pick one thing from the news this week, social media, things that happened in your life that you want to toast and things that you want to boo. Shanita, first.
Okay, what I want to toast is to the people that are getting out to vote early. Very proud of you. Listen, we need to toast. I want to boo this week. I already know who I want to boo. I want to boo the Orange Man.
Orange Man.
The Orange Man. You already know. I like him. Listen, I know. Listen, I rocks with Angela, so we're gonna talk about that. So it's some stuff I'm with, but
that's like no, it's like that between them.
Don't put them on me.
I'm just saying though.
Don't put them on me.
I gotta boo some of the nonsense, that be going on. Like we be having people. You listen, that man don't want our gas prices to go up. He don't want no problems with them people over there. So I'm gonna boo him for always just being a part of nonsense.
Okay.
Focus on the main thing. That's the main thing.
Okay, Angela, what are you booing? What are you cheering?
Can I start off with the cheer first?
Yeah,
I always like to
cheers.
start. I'm going to cheer that I just left Alachua Juvenile Detention Facility, where I met with 28 juvenile offenders and was able to get them to write their stories, and we are going to publish their stories through the publishing company. So I think I'm going to have to boo Amber Rose and Slut Walk. I'm tired of the BS. That's what we're going to boo.
I thought the slut walk was a positive.
That's what I'm booing. Make it make sense.
Empowerment. But I thought that was women empowerment.
But you can't say I don't want to be called a prostitute and then walk and dress and act like a prostitute. Like that's counterproductive. It doesn't make sense. Like let's be honest. What are we doing? What message are we sending? Boo!
But we dressing like a prostitute because that'd be questionable.
Christine Beatty. What are you booing and what are you toasting?
So I'm going to step out of the bounds because everybody always expects me to do political.
Yes.
So I'm hosting HBCU homecomings because Howard's homecoming. Homecoming coming up this next coming weekend. And I am booing anybody. I'm going to get political on this. That does not vote in this midterm election. I'm booing anybody that does that.
If you don't vote, seriously, after I've had some conversations with Christine, and listen, if you can vote and you're not voting and you just choose not to do it because you don't think it matters, I might as well not be your friend in social media.
No. Let me tell you something. I couldn't figure out. Somebody kept telling me, no, just stay in Africa because I got some things going on. I kept saying, no, I need to go home for something. And I'm only here for 4 days. And I realized when I touched down, I was like, Shanita, you have to come home to vote. If I would have stayed across the water, I would have been able to vote. So y'all gonna get my vote tomorrow before I leave. Don't worry about that.
Absolutely. So my cheers and my boo. My cheers is to another season of this web series. For those of you who don't know and are just joining us for the first time, we started this thing in 2013. Our topic for our show is marriage and reality TV.
Can I answer that first, honey?
No, I want to answer first because you're going to be really long.
No, baby, I promise you I'm going to be short.
I'm tired. Some can work.
Do they work? Like they're all full of shit.
And it is just one of those things that I feel like is missing today, because I think that the voices of intelligent, beautiful, smart women who are fearless enough and brave enough to say what you want to say no matter what, and you can always blame it on the you know, I think that is absolutely incredible. So I'm cheersing to Divas and Cocktails Season 4. My boo goes to anybody in social media teasing or taking advantage of people with mental health issues.
Oh,
absolutely. I think that it is. Even if we get a big boo. So I'm doing that.
Right. Are we putting you? Are you saying people because they were making fun of Kanye? I just need clarification.
I'm saying not just because they're making fun of Kanye.
Oh, okay.
I think just in general,
Just
there are a lot of
GP?
people out here on GP. It's a lot of people out here who are
GP for sure,
suffering
no.
They have
from mental
illness.
health issues and
not a
mental
joke.
illness, and it's definitely not a game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
So
not.
I think that.
But that we can talk about that.
We're gonna get into that. Okay. So topics. Let's get into these topics. So a lot of things have been happening in the news. I want to get into some politics right away because I think it's very, very important. We're gonna talk about that a few times tonight. But I want to direct this question to Christine and let you kind of run the ball on this. Why must we vote? Why is voting absolutely necessary? And does it really count? Does it matter?
It absolutely counts. And I know you and I had this conversation during the Donald Trump election, Donald Trump-Hillary Clinton race. And that was in 2016. And I tried to explain it in this way. If you don't vote because there's a candidate issue, people kept saying, "Oh, it's the worst of two, least of two evils," which is some crap. Mm-hmm. But let's just go with that. Okay, but you still have to vote because now, I'm gonna give you an example of what you see, and I said this the whole time, that vote wasn't even really about the presidency. That vote was about who's going to pick the next 3 Supreme Court justices, and as you see. He has filled those seats. And watch, one more is coming probably before his term ends. So I want people to understand it's not just always about the candidates. It's about what they control.
Right.
And when you look at the presidential election, I'll give you, and Obama tweeted about this, and there was some conversation about this week. If you look at the states that kind of called the election, the Ohios, the Pennsylvanias, the Floridas, the Michigans, less than 100,000 votes decided the presidential election.
Less than 100,000 votes.
More people attend Coachella. If that many more people right there have voted, we would have a different president right now. So you're talking about 10, I think it was like 11, our home state, 11,000 votes separated Clinton and Trump.
Wow.
In Michigan.
Wow.
So that's what, when you talk about does it matter? It absolutely matters. And that's the thing that people need to understand. When you go in there and you cha-ching that vote, yes, for a reason. People weren't marching in the 60s for the hell of it. They were marching because your vote matters. It decides what happens to us on a national and certainly on a local level. We're going to start thinking about prosecutors, and I know it's my minute is up probably. But when you start
No, this is real
prosecutors and those sorts of things that are decided, those are decided by us. So when you're living in a town where a prosecutor is disproportionately prosecuting black males once they've been arrested, we vote on those people. We do. So yeah, your vote counts at every turn. Never think your vote doesn't count.
I think what's happening is our millennials, because they haven't had to fight for so many things, they've kind of been born into an environment where they had this kind of sense of freedom. You know what I mean? Where they feel like, they don't have to do anything. And so I think the way that we're going to have to turn our country around and the things around is to really get to our millennials to help them understand that they are next up. What's happening now is going to be the future for them and for their children, because it's kind of hard for them to process. You know, we grew up in an era like we have to vote. You know, our grandparents was like, you know, my grandmother, she died before she got to see a black president. But you know, that's what they wanted when you listen to your grandparents talk. And so when you have these millennials that have been a part of a life where they've seen a black president and they've seen change in ways that really haven't affected them, I think this is the first semester or trimester or whatever of a president.
Trimester?
Whatever. That they really get it. Shut up, y'all. That they really get it. You get what I'm saying? I think they never got it before. But now that they're going through the things that they're going through, I think our millennials are saying, now wait a minute, what? Because they didn't have a voice. They didn't vote.
So I have a question. Why do you think it is that people are so
turned off or this?
And I mean, you know, because you hear a lot, you know, last election, a lot of people felt like because people didn't want to vote for Hillary and people didn't want to vote for him, that they just decided they were staying home. And it really, really infuriated me after I had my conversation with you. And you talked about the fact that we do not have a political IQ. So can you talk a little bit about that? Can you explain to us why people are so politically illiterate?
I don't want to call us politically illiterate, but what happens a lot of times in politics is people talk above the head of our heads. You know, like it's the political speak. And what you see now, more successful candidates speak in terms that people can relate to. They throw out issues now where you can understand, oh wow, my vote does count. Oh wait a minute, this vote does decide this. And that's what I mean when I said before, like the political IQ of our country is lowest because the political speak tends to be over our heads. And what happens is you lose voters, you lose interest. But when you can attach something to somebody, this means this for you.
Right.
If you vote.
Right.
People understand that. This means, you know, healthcare.
So let's stay in that space. So what does it mean to have Stacey Abrams as a governor in Georgia? And why is it important that everybody in the state of Georgia vote for Stacey Abrams?
Well, again, I'm voting for Stacey Abrams. I don't know how political we're supposed to get on this show.
Let's get political.
Okay, well,
Angela don't look like she agrees. Let her speak.
Go ahead. Why is it important? Well, and then we'll let Angela respond.
It's important for several reasons, and I can speak for me. Because Stacey Abrams is the candidate who's going to ensure things like healthcare, education, job creation for folks that look like us is going to happen. When you start looking at a city like Atlanta, right? You talk about the gentrification that has occurred. While it's great for the city of Atlanta, it's been booming. So the question then becomes, when you look at those things across the state, where are things like low-income housing? And yes, while that's a city issue too, you know, Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms is looking at that as well. But that is a state issue too. Education, when you look at the disparity in education across the state of Georgia, is APS getting its fair share? Who's willing to look at things like homestead tax exemptions to kind of redo how we fund education in the state of Georgia? And I think that we brought in a new superintendent who's done a phenomenal job at APS. However, that is the thing that gets decided by a governor. A governor has the opportunity to propose a budget and which funds go where and which educational funds, healthcare, what goes where in the state of Georgia. So I think people don't, when money is used for state correctional facilities versus education, how much goes where, a governor gets to decide it. Now, let me be clear. Your legislature has to pass her budget, which is why those votes are important too. Right. But if you have a governor that's willing to stand up and fight for and propose things that make sense, that makes sense. Right. And when you look at things like this, closing hospitals, like state hospitals across the state of Georgia. So we've had issues like this in Michigan as well. You talk about mental health. You said that was your boo. Mental health facilities across Michigan all got shut down by under Republican Governor Engler. All got shut down. So now when people see folks roaming, you know, through the streets, they don't have any mental health. They take them to the ER now. Why? Because we don't have state funded mental health facilities anymore. That is an issue decided by
And
our
that's one of the
state.
biggest issues
So,
in America.
yeah.
Mental health and lack of resources.
So when you look at those sorts of things like that, so the depletion of mental health services, that's a state decision. Yes, our vote counts. So when you look at, so everybody, once you finish, watch this first though. But once you finish, go online and look at the candidates' positions. You'll see where those individuals fall. On healthcare, on education, on mental health, on corrections. Those things are posted on their websites. Take a look at it and then cast your vote. I'm saying vote for Stacey Abrams, but that's it.
Okay, because Angela, where's why? Angela,
See, I kind of figured that this was kind of set up when I got the call and it was talking Let me just say this.
No setup. Everybody gets their turn to
I want
talk.
to be very clear because a lot of people get me confused. I am an independent, right? So I'm not a Republican nor am I a Democrat, right? I believe in voting for what's right. I did take the advice of Miss Christine Beatty and I went online and I looked at both of their positions, right? Between Kemp and as well as Stacey Abrams. Of course, what we'll do the majority of the time as black people, we just gonna go vote for the black person, like we did with Obama, right? Regardless whether they doing something for us or not, we just want to see our people in position. I get that. That don't mean that that's always the right thing. But when I did my research, what I found was between the two of them, that they basically stand for some of the same things, except the biggest difference is gang, right? ICE, immigration. That seems to be the biggest issue here. I don't want to make any enemies, so I'm going to hold back my stance on that.
Don't hold back your stance.
This is what I'm going to say as a country, right? And I ain't nobody advocating for Trump or none of that, but as a country, let me just put it like this as a parent. Me as a parent, my job is whenever I make money, I have to come home and I gotta make sure I take care of my children first. That does not mean that I won't feed the children up the street, across the street, or down the street. That just means as a parent, I need to make sure that my children are taken care of first. When it comes to the immigration issue and when it comes to America, I don't feel as though America is in a position to take on anybody else. We haven't even done what we needed to do for our own people. So how is it that we can open up our borders to so many more when we still got people we walking by over the street that's homeless? We still got kids that's in juveniles, in cages. Our kids are in cages as well, right? It's all about breaking the law. If you break the law, you go to jail, whether it's a detention camp or whether it's a juvenile detention center. If you cross the border illegally, you've broken the law. Whether you seek an asylum or not, you're getting arrested.
Kids haven't broken the law,
but they came with their parents. My daughter didn't break the law either. But it's just, but they don't have anywhere to go. Where you going to send them?
So can I ask you this question? Let me.
I mean, but they can send them a lot of places, not a cage.
But here's the thing. There's really nowhere for them to go. And then let's just be honest about this, right? Me as a parent, even you as an American. If I go into the hospital right now, give birth to a baby, right? And I have this baby. I can't leave the hospital with my baby without having some of the necessary paperwork. I got to have a birth certificate. I got to have a social security card. I cannot leave the hospital with my baby without my child being identified. When these people come into the country, and I'm not against it, yes, they need to be identified, just like everybody else. These aren't laws that this came up because these are immigrants. These are the American laws that we all have to abide by. 4,000. If my baby daddy get out of prison right now, the one that's a hitman that's locked up for murder. If he gets out of prison right now, he mind his father. If he gets out of prison right now and I decide that I'm going to take my daughter and I'm going to run, right? It ain't a border that I can go through that's going to let me in without the necessary paperwork.
That's the truth.
It's just the law.
Can I just ask her this one question? Got you on that. So, but when you get there, if you don't have the right paperwork, right, while they're trying to sort it out, should they throw your daughter in a cage?
Okay, so
let me just be on that. Because I get you on the paperwork. Should they throw your kid in the cage?
Here's the thing. Well, we don't have
now. We are humans above everything.
We are humans. Let's finish talking about being humans. We are humans, right? I was a human when I was handcuffed to a bed and forced to give birth. Hold on, let's just talk about being humans in the American law and American justice system. Okay. Because I'm a human as well and didn't kill anybody. Okay. I may deserve to be in prison, but did I deserve to be treated like a dog? Absolutely not. Here's my thing. When our children, right? If I'm riding down the street right now and I get locked up and my daughter is with me and there's nowhere for my daughter to go, you don't think she's going to be in the holding facility until DivasAnd or somebody come get her? She's going to be in a holding facility until somebody comes and picks her up. It's just the way that it goes. You can't, where are these kids going to go? We're not reporting all the real news. That majority of them that came over here came alone.
Can I say something to Angela? I'm going to say this. I know Christine about to jump on me. But the reason why I can agree with Angela, and I have been agreeing with her on some of her topics, is because I didn't realize until she started to point out certain things on how our system works. And I'm gonna give you an example. I traveled with my children to South Africa for Christmas, okay? And when I travel with my children in South Africa for Christmas, they require, if the mother and the father aren't traveling together, that I have to have a notarized letter from the father that they are able to enter the country on that father's permission to basically say I'm not running off with his kids, okay? I get to the border of South Africa. Not only did Mr. George Foster not get the letter notarized, but he gave me Jada's passport instead of Jersey's passport because my kids' names are similar.
Wow.
Do you not understand? The people in South Africa was like, you ain't coming up in here. I said, why? They said you don't have the father's permission.
Yeah.
They wasn't even worried about the birth certificate. I was denied into the country. Now, let's go back to the United States. When we speak about the United States, as much as I love Africa, saving children, I can agree to disagree with Angela, meaning those people are trying to escape something that's way different than being homeless in America or not having food in America. It's something completely different. What I will stand with Angela on is the law is the law. And I'm starting to understand her flight on believing that we cannot continue just allowing people to come into this country and say that we're going to change and we're going to flip our laws to suit them, to save them, to help them. When once she broke it down, I have nieces and nephews that have been a product of this American government system where they've been taken away from their parents because certain things were in order.
Okay, this is a really good topic and we got to get off. But Christine, I'm gonna let you respond really quickly to Angela or Shanita or both.
I just want us to be real clear. We're not talking about people traveling over the border with their kids with proper birth certificates. We're talking about people who have fled countries where, you know, they're seeking asylum because the countries have attempted to murder them. They're trying to escape gangs. We're not talking about people just.
But we ain't trying to escape gangs.
But they waving flags though.
You ain't in South Africa, but that's my point.
But I saw a video of Junior trying to escape a gang and they killed him.
Okay, wait.
Here again, what I'm saying is
we gotta listen.
Either we law abiding or we not. That's what we just y'all say. Oh, I respect the law. Okay, but we're just 5 seconds ago we said the system is flawed because we all got nieces, nephews, friends. So it's either one or the other. And like I said, so you can't have it both ways. And the point being, it shouldn't be done. Period. Children don't deserve to be in cages.
Absolutely.
So don't sit and say, oh, because they're sitting over here.
No, we're not saying the kids should be in
absolutely
cages.
I'm saying where's the
no way
outcry
we
for
should
the
be
American children? Why is it that when it happened to immigrants, not everybody want to cry when it's been going on?
Well, be clear, Christine been crying way before the immigrant thing happened.
Okay, ladies, we got to jump off of this. We got to jump off of this subject. It's really juicy. Obviously, it's something that we all feel really passionate about. I believe that humanity over politics all the time.
Yes, absolutely.
I think that at the end of the day, if you got babies in cages, I haven't been there, I have not seen it. I understand more than anybody, well, not more than anybody, but just like most, that there are things that people will say that are absolutely not true. Right. There are things that people that will report that are absolutely not true. And I tend to not comment on things that I haven't seen for myself. Right. And if you do have kids in cages, and if you do have people, I did see those people coming over from Guatemala. And I'm like, hold up. But see that? I know, but they're escaping, and they're escaping. If you're in a situation where you're running for your life and the lives of your children, and your only alternative is to come someplace where you can seek refuge in the United States, then you need to take that chance.
Well, why they ain't going to Europe?
Life or death. And I'm just going to say that's it. So I'm going to say that's it. So education. On to the next topic. You guys. We gotta move on. Let me let you get in here.
I just want to know this. If somebody has mistreated me, right, and I'm running and I'm going for my life because this is the only chance I got survival, why are they waving the flag of a country that has treated them so bad? So the videos that I've seen, there are some women and children, not a lot. The majority of them are men, and they're coming towards our borders waving flags. Can anyone make that make sense for me?
I need to see the
That's like me wearing a shirt. Let me pull it up for you. That's like me wearing a shirt of my rapist.
Right, but
they're also on video saying Trump is the Antichrist. Okay, he might be, but if Trump is the Antichrist, why do you want to come be up under his rule? And the Mexican government has also reported that they have offered them jobs and money to stay, and they still refuse to stay. So let's tell the whole story. Maybe we don't know everything that's going on, but bottom line is this: all people need to be treated with respect,
Absolutely.
right, and dignity.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
just as Americans, we're wrong for advocating for everyone else but our own, and that's where I'm at.
Okay. On to the next topic.
I'm with it.
This was good and juicy. This one is a question of whether or not black women have abandoned comedian Monique. Christine, you want to take that?
Not really, but when so just help me out because maybe I was a little off on the controversy. So the last thing that I knew Monique was battling was Netflix.
I think the question is that in this time of Me Too and Time's Up, when we're encouraging women to speak up about feeling like people have, disrespected them or shown them some sort of inequality, Monique, in some people's perspective, Monique was speaking up against being wronged by an industry. And should we have embraced that the same way we would anybody else who speaks up about being wronged by an industry?
Wait, not everybody at once.
If that,
Christine. Okay, I'll be real quick. So when I saw it, I didn't necessarily think she had been wronged. She was comparing herself to people like Kevin Hart, Chris Rock. These dudes sell out very large venues. I would go see Monique if she came. I think this is the point that people are making, and Whoopi Goldberg even made this point on The View. You have to have the same revenues that you pull in with your movies and everything else to be able to get to the table and say, I want this. And I didn't feel like anybody wronged her for not standing up for her, but I love Monique.
Let's just go back to underlying fact here is that it was an offer. When someone makes you an offer, right, you have the opportunity to either take the offer or not take the offer. If you didn't want to take the offer, don't take the offer. My whole issue about it was I had just heard about Shonda Rhimes and the deal that they had offered her. So that led me to believe, wait a minute, this is not about black women, Monique. This is about you. Right. But that's still my sister. I love Monique. I always had it in my mind that she would play my mom if we ever did a movie. But that one, I went with it.
All right, Shanita, what are you thinking?
She should have did that in the background. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everything don't have to be publicly. Even when she felt
But
like
what about when your husband a bad influence?
I know, but this is what I'm saying. Hold on. What I'm saying is, even if we go back to her initial controversy, I felt like if she had a problem with Lee Daniels, Oprah Winfrey, or whoever the case may be, why we gotta always be the people that we gotta go public and throw all our people under the bus? She should have went and had a personal conversation with them first, or had tried to have some personal recollection before she started all that versus putting it in public. So I'm cool with Monique. I like Monique. Shout out to the weight loss, dashing pounds off,
She
all
looks
of that.
good.
She
Yeah.
looks amazing.
good. Yeah.
But my thing is, don't make it a fight about black people, man. Come on, man. That's your issue.
I think that was her influence.
Do you think that her husband was doing what husbands are supposed to do and supporting his wife, or do you think that her husband was being an antagonist?
But the husband, you don't
her?
have the career. The wife has the career, not you. So I think that maybe sometimes, even in marriage, we can overstep our boundaries by not having.
I think we not in their bedroom, and I don't know what her husband's
going on.
I watched it live with her and her husband, so I'm going off of what I saw. I watched it live.
I'm gonna ease out of that bedroom, but I think that her.
Christine said, "I'm gonna ease out of
that bedroom," but. I feel you on when you making, if you're making decisions about your career, definitely should be based on what you can pull in. And that's, the television and movie industry, y'all, it's tough.
It's tough.
So,
it's tough. It is a tough
shout out
industry.
to Monique, though. She's done a lot of great things, and she's a woman that I admire. So
yeah,
absolutely.
I think, I think Monique is super talented. I think she's a great comedian. I love the fact that she's fearless enough to speak out and say what's really on her mind. But I'm not down with what she said about Oprah or Tyler or Lee. I think it was, disrespectful. And I think there's just a way, I'm a big fan of, figuring out another way to, let them know that you wasn't really with that. And I think success...
another way.
I think success is your best revenge. Yeah. And I think that there's a certain level of respect that we owe women like Oprah Winfrey, who have paved the way for so many. I applaud you, Mo. I applaud you for being brave enough to really just not give a damn. But some things you can kind of keep to yourself. And as far as her relationship with her husband, I'm straight up out the bedroom. But I do be tripping out and them calling each other daddy and mama. And, you know.
See, I've never seen them live. So I have to check it out, I guess.
They're very, honey. They're very,
But shout out to
very
them and their open marriage and how they've kept it alive, and that's why
Open marriage.
Open
Well,
marriage.
they've already
Open
they
marriage.
have an open marriage.
Talking about why not
No,
get
but
on
they
that.
talked about this before. They have an open marriage. I mean, they talked about it. So I mean, it's not.
You mean open marriage? Like he can go over there, you can go over there. We're gonna come back together, child. Stop.
Yeah. You know,
Whatever works.
You better cheat on me in silence, damn it.
Whatever works. Whatever works for them.
Whatever
You
works.
better cheat on me in
it ain't
silence.
cheating if
What?
you know about it.
No, you can't do that.
Oh, that's a good topic. Ooh, that's a good topic.
You know about it.
That's
All right, well, Monique, we wish you the best opportunity
Yes.
for her to, I mean, we
I love
want to
you.
see you back on the big screen. We
Quit
wanna see
acting
you
crazy,
doing all
girl,
that
so you
other
get a
stuff,
job.
right?
Woo!
To another topic.
We got a
Okay,
good
so-
question. Can I throw
This
this
is good.
question
Yes,
out from a
please,
viewer?
yes.
She
Yeah.
said, pillow talk rules when you are in a business together. So that's what we talking about.
Ooh.
So you're in business together,
Ooh.
and the pillow talk rules. What are the rules?
Man, that pillow talk
And,
is
I
my
think we got
trouble.
a couple people on the stage with some business together with.
Yeah. I will say
love
this.
it.
I keep my husband's business, his political perspectives, all of his stuff, because he ain't about this life and in this business. And I think it's very important to respect your spouse. I think it's amazing that I have somebody who is willing to be with me with what I do. With
But
what
you
I
know,
do.
people
I
shame
haven't
me.
made him
People
business
shame me for that. Even when I wrote my book, when I did television, people used to always get upset because I used to be like, "Don't say George's name, don't ask no questions, don't," because he didn't sign up for the things that I signed up for. And so I have always protected his right to have his privacy.
I mean, my husband and I are exact opposite as well. I mean, we kind of just the perfect fit for each other. So it's like I'm more of the forefront, he's more of the back front. We have plenty of conversations at night, of course. We discuss business, we discuss family, we talk about everything. But I think it's that mutual respect for each other that you said that we have. And just the understanding of what our roles are.
Absolutely.
And as long as we're clear on that, then
It's all good.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of, well, Chris, do you have an opinion on
I was
this?
just somebody said after a while, does a marriage become a business after so long? Anyway?
Hell yeah!
Listen, damn it.
Hell yeah! Why are you kidding me?
Like Will and Jada.
Right.
Damn it, it's
Damn the marriage.
triple.
It's a business. Right.
Absolutely.
Let me be transparent for a
Right.
minute. Let me put my business on the table for a minute.
After I
People
was
be
keeping
like,
it all off.
listen, people be like, are y'all married? Listen, people be like, Shanita, are you married? Are you divorced? What are you doing? And let me tell you something. Listen, we have gotten to that table so many times. And we look at, wait a minute, what these bills gonna look like if it's two people going two different directions, taking care of some kids. I'd be like, wait a minute, go on over there and be mad. Go on and sleep in that wing of the house or in the basement or something.
Jada said it. It's like at a certain point you become family. So like all that. Let me say something to all you young girls out here. Let me look.
Yes, come on now.
Listen. To all you young girls out here with all these dreams of just, you know, oh, I'm going to marry my Prince Charming and he's going to cart me off in a horse. That's going to last till after the honeymoon.
Girl, they be lying on Instagram. They be lying, all that kissing and hugging. Talking about we so hard, they be lying.
No, you can find Prince Charming. You can find Prince Charming, but Prince Charming is not on a horse. He is not wearing a cape.
It's a real life.
It's a real life man, and that is somebody who connects with you.
And Prince Charming has issues too.
What is your definition of Prince Charming?
I don't know about that now.
My definition of a Prince Charming is somebody that you are happy with and that you can go through this life with. And he can accept you with your flaws, and you can accept his, and y'all can walk on down this line together. Now, let me say this. Yeah, a marriage becomes a business, but for me, this is just me.
Okay.
If I'm not in love with that person, like if the love ain't there, I'm not staying. I don't care about the business thing. That's everybody's individual choice.
Yeah. Right.
For some, I have great friends who stay in a marriage because it's financially better. I get that.
Right.
But for me, and hopefully my daughters make their own choices. Well, I have 2 daughters. So if you get married, and hopefully that's that one time that you stay in it and you're able to stay through the ups and downs, because it's not going to be easy.
It's not going to be easy.
It's not going to be easy. But after that fact, though, if you're not happy, that person doesn't make you happy, and you're miserable, and they're miserable, why are you there?
Right.
But let me ask you a question. How many years do you go through not being happy to say, okay, this is enough. Because everybody that I've spoken to that have been in 10 years plus marriages, the Cookie Johnsons, the Patton Emmett Smiths, the Jada and Wills, when you speak to them, they say that there's going to be this extreme amount of time where two people are not going to be on the same page, and there's going to be a whole lot of unhappiness. So since I'm like right there at that point, I just want to ask, how long do you think that unhappiness is enough for you to say, I'm working through this thing?
Can I take that? Can I take that?
Because you're married, so I want to know.
So here's my thing.
And I got divorced, so I'm going to tell you mine too.
Right. This is what I think. I think
enough?
that your thoughts, what you believe, what you perceive, everything sets the tone for how you feel, right? So if you've told yourself several times that I'm not happy and this does not work for me, there's no way for you to be happy because your mind controls everything. You've already told yourself that you can't be happy. But if you can find some things about that man that you know you can appreciate regardless of what all you have been through, because I know one thing about that man over there, I'm always going to love that man because that man loved me when I was at my worst.
That's right.
So there are certain things that I'll never be able to forget and certain things that are going to keep me loving him and respecting him at all times because I know how he put me on a pedestal in his life. So I think for all of us that are married, if we can look for the things that did make us happy or the things that we appreciate and we think about why we married this person, then we'll be able to find some happiness.
You know, you just know when enough is enough. I think so often you want to just like, okay, this is it. Okay, well, if he does this, then this is it. Or if she does that, this is it. I think at the point where you feel like you're losing yourself, I feel like when you start to feel like you have to become a completely different person in order to function in a relationship, it's time for you to go. If you're not living your best life, you can't expect nobody else to live their best life with you or for you. Right. But if you're doing the absolute best that you can and you're doing everything you can to make it work and it just doesn't seem to be clicking, then maybe it's time for you to just move on and be happy.
And some people get married for the wrong reason. So you may not have, that might have been the best choice in the first place. That being said, though, for me, when you see yourself about to make terrible decisions about your marriage, it might be time to go. I got a divorce because my husband and I were on the same page, but unfortunately, I did the terrible thing of cheating before I got a divorce. So if you get ready to think about stepping out on your marriage or do other things, it's time to go. It might be time for me to think divorce or some serious counseling to see if we need to get divorced. So I'm speaking from that perspective.
How does me divorcing this man affect my children?
Ooh. That's the biggest thing.
Well, and let me say this: having been through a divorce with both kids and you don't know, you can never answer that question, and you can't answer whether or not staying with your husband and them watching y'all be miserable, how that's going to affect them. If they never see a happy marriage. So they go up thinking, I don't want to be married because I don't want to be in a relationship like this. Decisions, again, are individual, and you always have to consider at the end of the day many things, and everybody's decision is different.
Absolutely.
True that. Absolutely. I can agree with that.
Is Kanye West on one, or is he on to something?
I'm going to save mine for last.
You going to save yours for last?
Yes.
No, you go last.
No.
I'm going to say this. Let me go. I go first. Kanye. I think there's some mental health issues there, without me being funny, straight face.
He said it.
I think the loss of his mother was very extreme. I think he didn't seek proper counseling throughout that time. I think there's some, it's got to be some type of chemical imbalance going on there. And chemical imbalances, what people don't understand is it can come from long-term use. I'm not saying the man was on drugs, but using different kind of drugs or alcohol, you can get a chemical imbalance. I think that something has happened along the way that has put him in a mental state. Now, I'm going to say this too. I think sometimes that Kanye is playing off of having...
Playing off or playing off?
Playing off of some of his mental issues. Meaning, sometimes when people have mental issues, you have stages of where you're completely disconnected and you're connected. And I think sometimes he is disconnected, but I think in those connected moments, he's still playing us. Do y'all get what I'm saying a little bit? I think he kind of playing the game with us a little bit. So it's kind of hard for us to tell at this point, Kanye, because we accept your mental issues. But then when you come back into that moment where we know you all the way there, it's like you playing on us. Because now you
no, but I think that is one of the traits of somebody who is diagnosed bipolar. Like the fact is that one minute they good and they're there, and the next minute it's like a totally different thing.
I really feel bad for Kanye. I don't think it's enough people around him that's taking responsibility for his actions and what he has going on. I think they're taking it as a money-making situation. As far as the music, no disrespect. Y'all know I ain't never been really no rap fan. At the end of the day, do I think he's damaging his sales in that aspect? Yes. But then on the other hand, the people that he's leaning towards, they going to fund them anyway. No disrespect. The Caucasians. Since he's taken a lot of their side on a lot of their topics and a lot of their issues, he's not going to have a money issue. So black people, stop thinking that because y'all stop downloading Kanye music or not listening to him, he's going to have a money issue.
But people with money jump off bridges and hang themselves too.
I know,
so not to suggest that's what he's going to do.
What I'm saying is Kanye is not going to have a money issue because of the game that he's playing right now. If it's a game, he's not going to have a money issue. So, I mean, Kanye, I don't know.
More power to you, brother. Christine. Is he on one or on to something?
He definitely on
Free
one.
thinking.
He's on one. I'm going to set the mental issue thing aside. That's been talked about. Yeah, I mean, he probably does have something. Whether he's diagnosed or not, I don't know. Yeah, and if he does, he clearly is off of the medication at the time. But even bigger than that, and I have to reference a post that T.I. did on Instagram, which to me said it all. First of all, let's be clear. If Kanye don't make another song, he got enough money for the. I mean, he's written so many songs. He doesn't have to make any more music. I believe a lot of this is what Shanique, you mentioned a little bit of it. The playing us. I don't think necessarily he's playing us. I just think he's playing with whatever he gets attention for. When we started dogging him for that "Make America Great Again," he took it to the next level. And that right there. When that performance in the White House, and T.I. said this, it wasn't only a disgrace, but it was a missed opportunity to sit up and talk about in front of you, because everybody wanted to see what he was talking about. It was a missed opportunity for him to represent people of color and our issues to this man who supposedly is listening to a Kanye. He had an opportunity to say, let me just speak to you about the brothers and sisters incarcerated across this country, because I know you say that's one of your issues that you're going to work on.
But his wife is talking about that, right?
Okay, we talking about Kanye though.
Okay.
It's, for me, he represented himself in a way, let me say this, he just lost an opportunity, and the appearance itself looked like buffoonery. And that's what pissed me off.
Yeah.
You know, that you would get up there and do all that. Oh, I love this man. And, oh, let me just, I mean, come on. I mean, it just.
Do you think that Donald Trump takes him seriously? Do you think that any of the Republicans on Fox News or Democrats, for that matter, do you think anybody is really taking Kanye West seriously?
It's not about.
Just let me know when I can have the floor.
It's not about, you can jump in. It's not about whether or not they take him serious. It's about what you portraying out there to people. And see, that's what you have to understand.
I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad you said that.
It's the thing that is being missed. Donald Trump is not really the issue when you look at it for this particular thing. It's Kanye. Because Donald Trump is going to use whatever he can to his advantage for things. Like his famous line in the election was, "Black folks, what do you have to lose?" And if you look at now, we have so much to lose. So much that we have to lose. Yeah. And we're on the cusp of losing a lot when you look at this Supreme Court and decisions that might be overturned. And I'm gonna close it with this. And this is why I said buffoonery type of thing. This is how clueless and how much of a loss of an opportunity in terms of he not understanding what it means really to be black in America and how it affects us. I was at a bar when they were going through the Kavanaugh hearings in a hotel. I was traveling for work. And I was sitting down, and there was 3 white people sitting at the bar. And they were talking about the Kavanaugh thing, and, oh, you know what, it's not really that big of a deal. When you think about it, this was the direct quote from the white woman. She said, when you really think about it, what does the Supreme Court really have to do with our daily lives anyway? And so, I mean, literally, the white man saw my face, and I was like, but it said to me, the difference from a white woman versus a black woman, which is my daily life. First of all, I can't vote, thought of as Supreme Court affects my daily life. Can I go to public school? Yeah, the Supreme Court affects my life on a daily basis. So when you look at that sort of juxtaposition on us as African Americans, when you have certain opportunities presented before you, meaning you're sitting in the White House with the president, with the most still, whether we like him or not, the most powerful man in this country.
That's right.
And that's what you do with your opportunity.
Now, can I jump in right here?
Come on, Angie. Come on.
Okay, now here's my thing. First of all, let me say I respect the T.I. I know how y'all feel about the king of the South, but I'm going to be very clear when I say this. T.I. is not the person to talk about Kanye, because if we're talking about what we are portraying or what we portray to the people, T.I., for one, what does he portray in all of his music? Now, just like we got the message that he put up on his Instagram page about T.I., about Kanye, we get all his other messages too when we talking about drugs and we talking about prostitution and we talking about gangs. And we also gonna talk about that museum, if we had time, that don't represent nothing but drugs, death, murder, guns, the end, right? So let's get on that. T.I., for one, you can't talk about Mr. Grab him by the when you made a video and put the on top of your dad dancing in front of you. You can't talk about grabbing the when you did the same thing. So it's a lot of the pot calling the kettle black. Now, another thing about Kanye and T.I., Kanye also asked T.I. to come to the same meeting with him for Donald Trump. If you got so much of a problem with how Kanye represented it there, why didn't you go in there and you represent? Because we're not, you ain't got nothing to do with Kanye. T.I. don't have nothing to do with Kanye. T.I., if you're an advocate for the people, then you should have took it upon yourself to go in there and be a voice for us. All that emotional shit, excuse me, Mama King, needs to be taken off the table when we talking about business. Because I've been in prison, right? I know what it feels like to be separated from your family. I know what it feels like to cry every night and want to come home. So I'm thinking from the mind of somebody that's in prison. Regardless of whatever problem y'all got with Donald Trump, the people that's in prison, that's not able to go home to their families every night, they want to come home. Do I agree with Kanye's performance in the White House? Absolutely not. I do not agree. But here's the thing. The people that's talking about Kanye are not in the White House advocating for us. And they don't have a connection to the president.
He ain't going
so hold on. No, Kanye was invited and Meek Mill was invited. Meek Mill was also invited. Okay, T.I. was invited too. They turned it down. So because you turned down the opportunity to be a voice for us, you don't have a right to speak on it, because I'm trying to get in the voice in the White House to be a voice for us, right? Okay. Regardless of how people feel about me, but I just feel like I am the perfect example of prison reform. Here's another thing on Kanye, and then I'm gonna let it go, right? So, Christine, if you had something that I needed from you, right? You and I may not have the perfect relationship, but you have a relationship with Nikki. I may say, Nikki, can you go holler at Christine for me? Because I need something, right?
Okay.
Christine, you have her ear because you two have a relationship. Kanye may not necessarily be the perfect person for the job, but him and Trump already had a relationship prior to. So maybe Kanye can use his influence, right?
Which he didn't do.
But hold on, wait a minute.
He didn't do it.
He did go in there and speak on behalf of black people. He did go in there and speak on welfare. But why didn't you go?
What did he say?
Why didn't you go? But they still hear my voice, and it's wrong for black people to dog Kanye, the White House. It's wrong for black people.
Okay.
I just left the White House.
And they heard you. That's what I'm about to tell. And they heard you.
Have you been?
And they heard you.
Have you been?
I have, because I ain't been invited.
Oh.
All right, ladies.
I was.
Wait.
Then the people standing outside the door talking shit ain't got nothing to do with the people that's inside the door.
And the people
You don't have to sit at the table. Your voice ain't being heard.
Hold on, wait. I got a question.
And she been in jail.
I know, but this is
She know what it's like.
Okay, she been in jail. I got a question though. Okay, one valid question.
Okay, what's your
Christine
question?
B. Yes. If Donald Trump's people called you tomorrow and asked you to go to the White House, are you going? Yes or no? Okay, that's all. Hold on, not the audience. Let me answer the question for you. This has been the issue, not just with me. If you listen to every CP,
Let her answer her question.
So I ain't about to give y'all no yes or no. Can I answer the question? You You're damn right, because it's more than a yes or no.
Wait.
Just like I said, you ain't the first. It's a whole congressional
about black people.
How the hell you gonna tell me what I don't hear about? You're damn right I'm emotional, because the issue is emotional.
And that's why a woman
So be clear.
always ruling in y'all emotions.
So be clear that there is a whole contingent of congressional Black Caucus members who sat before that man and he didn't give a shit about what they
Was
said.
he there?
Not shit about what they said.
Those are lies, because I had somebody that was at the meeting.
Nothing happened.
I know the truth. She wasn't there.
Please stop. Everybody in the CDC will tell you nothing got done from that document. When you talk about right now, his Secretary of Education, who has an assault on HBCUs, comes there and tell me, you damn right I'm emotional, because the issue is emotional. So us to sit here talking about, would I go to the White House? Hell no, because the people who stand there and represent me and know the issues ain't got through to them yet.
Again, y'all can say what y'all want to, y'all can talk about me. That I can even be on Angela's side a little bit, just hear me out, is that everybody keep talking about what the president is doing wrong, who doing wrong when they go in there and speak to him, he didn't represent us right, blah, blah, blah. But when I asked the question, just hear me out, if the man's people called you tomorrow, would you go? And your response was, hell no. Hold on. Let me ask the question. Let me ask the question. At what point, if everybody is declining this invitation to speak to the man that they saying not listening to somebody, it's almost the same thing that we telling people when it comes down to voting. Hear me out. Because you got a group of people that when they say, I don't want to vote, because my voice is not going to be heard.
Back to my first
so
question.
Why would I do it? It's the same thing when it comes down to talking about the president. Because if no one's going to take a stand and say, I'm going to go in and attempt and try, and that's all our vote is. Our vote is saying that I'm giving my personal attempt, me, Shanita Foster, to make this country a better place, to have my voice being heard. Let me cast my vote. So if we saying, this just means that if the White House call, I'm not going to go because my voice not going to be heard. Nobody listening. Who going to ever hear me? I think it's a contradiction to what we're saying in the direction that we going in into the country. Now, by far, I'm not the most political. Let me stand, okay? My first vote was the Obama administration. So I ain't never said that my very first vote was the Obama administration. So I raised my hand telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Let me finish. Y'all been yelling the whole time. Listen,
I'm sorry.
At the end of the day, from a person, because I think I speak for the people that Christine said. I'm one of those people where a lot of times when the political things are going on, sometimes they're above my head to understand what's being voted on, what's not being voted on. But as I watch and I'm starting to listen and I'm starting to gain understanding, my thing is I'm only standing with Angela because it's people like Angela that's at least saying, I'm willing to take a chance to see that if I go, if I fight, my voice is going to be heard. Because if everybody keep throwing up their damn hands talking about he ain't listening, we ain't going, we not doing this, at what point do we see change?
Let's be clear that is not the only way to fight. The other way that I'm fighting is voting in the midterm elections. It ain't no comparison to say that me sitting down with Trump is equal to me not voting because I don't think he'll hear me. On the contrary is just that. I do get to cast my ballot and I do get to have my voice heard. Right when I cha-ching that vote, that's when my voice is going to be heard. Okay. And I'm not done. And then on the second thing to that, to say that I'm ostracizing everybody that sits down before him. Here again, I've said this before. There was a meeting of Congressional Black Caucus members who sat down before him. There was a meeting of HBCU presidents who sat down with him and got nothing accomplished. So I'm choosing my fights to get him out of office and endorse and fight for candidates who are going to sit in Congress and get things passed and done for us,
Amen.
By us. So this don't have nothing to do with whether or not my voice, or I'm choosing to not have my voice heard. If people want to go and waste their time and sit down with Trump, have at it.
That's us fighting for what you believe in, wasting your time. Because we don't know if the next administration even going to be studying prison reform for one thing. Because I'm fighting for the people that's currently locked up.
What prison reform
we will be right back.
Our final thoughts on this. This was a really powerful. First of all, thank you, ladies, really, seriously, because there is nothing like having conversations with intelligent, beautiful, smart women who are unafraid of expressing their opinions. And I think
do
when it
respect
comes
that
to
about you. I respect your opinion. I ain't tripping on that.
And that's the thing. We can have passionate conversations, passionate, real conversations, and we can reel it back in and be together.
I just want to say, I done lost my voice. Thank you to the opinions. It felt good not to get this.
Not to be in the drama.
Yes, it felt good. I just want to say that I can respect everything that they said. It was a good place because once again, I do feel like I'm one of those people where I'm learning. And so I want to sit in a position of people that don't quite understand politics and to hear both sides debate it, because there's more people like me than it is like you guys.
Absolutely.
And so that's why I said it's your job to continue to feed us the information, to feed us the debate, so more people like me will be able to say, aha, I get why I'm voting or why this is important, because a lot of people just don't know. So that's the first thing. What I want to plug is I have a birthday coming up. And so every birthday I give my birthday to the widows and orphans of Swaziland, Africa. It never changes. So I'm be asking y'all for some money. Definitely for my birthday, I'm headed back to Swaziland to spend my birthday with the orphans. So beyondthegame.org.
Tell them the date of your birthday.
My birthday is November 4th. So me and P. Diddy share a birthday. We share it with the elections, all those different things. But so that's what I got going on.
All I gotta say is I want you to put some of that energy that you have for Africa into the city of Detroit, because we're doing the From the Bottom Up Foundation.
Okay,
we need you on the board,
I'm there.
and we gotta rebuild these schools.
Okay.
Angela Stanton, let me say something about you, boo. What I love about you is that you are unafraid of saying exactly what you gotta say. Yeah. You will tell it like it is, and you speak from your heart, and you're smart. So, what you got going on, boo?
Well, you guys know I just recently founded my own organization, the American King Foundation, where I have I focus on American families, and that came about, of course, when I watched the entire world come together for immigrants. Not that I don't think they're deserving of the same things, but I think that at some point we have overlooked and forgotten our own people. So with my organization, I focus on giving Americans that have committed crimes a pathway to justice, economic stability, and relational wellness. Saturday, December 8th in Atlanta, Georgia at the Martin Luther King Center, I am having the launch for my nonprofit organization. We're having the Free Game Movement. So what we're doing with the Free Game Movement is I'm opening up our doors to over 200 people for free. You're coming in. We are teaching you how to start a business, how to open a business, how to maintain the business, the customer service in business, all of the things that you need to know. And I got several people coming from all around the United States to share their business expertise with you all. I think that if we as a people stop focusing on race and focus on what we need to do to better ourselves instead of pointing fingers at everyone else, we will see the change that we need to see. Don't hate me for fighting for us, because that's what I'm going to do, regardless of who the president is. And I love my people.
All right now.
Yes, indeedy. Chairman is my boy.
In terms of, I don't necessarily have anything personal going on right now. I'm starting a new job. That's a new thing for me. So it's
Work is good.
you know, I think what I want to shout out, if you will, we as black people can walk and chew gum at the same time. And what I mean by that is I can fight for my people, but I can also believe in immigration. I can fight for prison reform here and also battle against injustice in the president's office. But we need all hands on deck.
Yes, we do.
So what Angela is doing for her part, what you are doing for your part with your foundation, what Shanita's doing for her part with hers, is all needed. Mm-hmm. And so, again, when I talk about politics, I'm passionate about it because I worked in it, I lived in it, and I know what it can do. I know the power of the office. And I think that's the thing that I want people to understand. I know the power of the office. And if we as African Americans can understand the power of the office too, just think about it. If we all voted, us, all African Americans, every last one in this country voted in this election, we alone would change the election. Think about that.
That's big.
And when you're presented with an opportunity, like going to the White House, I want you to speak for us. Like Angela said, she spoke for us. Great. If you go there and speak for us.
Right.
There are people who go there and ain't spoke for us. They just spoke.
I agree with that.
They just spoke. So that's a different thing. So, and that's what I mean by that. And so all of us as black women, hopefully sitting on this panel, are going to keep talking and fighting.
Absolutely.
And Nikki, I appreciate this platform that you provided tonight because this was actually a lot of fun. I'm glad.
And we gonna keep doing it way more often.
I can do it all the time.
But so I want to say,
rotate some. Get off here.
we gonna rotate a few, but I like this one right here. I like this one. Anyway, but I want to talk a few things that are very important to me. Number one, social conflict film. Social Conflict Film is a passion project. It's a short film my husband and I produced. My wonderful, wonderful friend Dwayne Barnes directed the shit out of this. We told the true story. Well, we told a story based on a true story about our music teacher who was sexually assaulting boys at the school. And we also touch on mental health. We touch on gun violence in schools. Social conflict is what you're seeing outside of these schools. Social conflict is what you see on the news every day.
Over and over and over again. All I see is negativity on my TV screen.
As for local news, Detroit Public Schools reopen next week. This semester, things are very different. The new law saying that school teachers and administrators are free to carry firearms into the classroom.
Hey, David, how you doing?
You know, since you always giving presents to your student, I got a present for you.
No gun control, no students. No gun control, no students.
How could you go in there knowing that there's people in there with guns ready to shoot down the next black child? And don't get me started on that punk-ass Principal Fitzgerald with his Trump-loving ass.
Move out of my goddamn way, or it's gonna be a problem.
We already got a problem.
Now, all things considered, you of all people should understand. No offense.
No offense taken, but this has nothing to do with me or my son.
Bear, get back to your post. I'll take Miss Davis to her classroom.
Can you handle this?
All I want to do is make a difference in the kids' lives.
Okay, well, go make that difference.
We know who you is. We know who you are. Can anyone tell me what that means?
Yeah, it's like when people don't think for themselves.
I don't care how free you think, slavery wasn't no damn choice.
What? I guess you think DLM terrorists too.
If you so adamant about it, why you not out there protesting with them, dumbass?
I got your dumb ass. Just cause you straight don't mean I won't beat your ass.
And just cause you smell like a coochie don't mean I won't knock the period off you.
Bitch, I wish you
Fuck you talking about?
Why are you here anyway? It was your crazy ass best friend who killed my favorite teacher. If he wanted to kill anybody, he should have killed your ass. Harder. What? Come here.
Charmaine, do you know why your son killed Tillerson?
No. I'm so sorry. Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me? And who else knows about this?
All I can say is Carver Alliston might have
Carver?
some. Yes. He might have all the answers that you need. He was one of the main victims, Charmaine. I'm
Carver?
Sorry. Yeah, I'm
Carver?
Take your medicine today.
I took half.
No, y'all gonna get cut the fuck up today. I'm so tired of you messing with me. What you doing, dog?
No gun control, no students. No gun control, no students.
Go see Social Conflict and donate to Beyond the Game. Donate to American King and donate to FromTheBottomUpFoundation.org. I want to thank all of my guests. Thank you, Angela Stanton. Thank you, Christine Beatty. Thank you, Shanita Foster. Thank you to all of our followers on every platform who watched. Next week's episode is going to be juicy. We want to know what y'all want to talk about. We want to hear what you guys have to say. Divas and Cocktails. Conversations about community and culture over cocktails, and it just don't get no better than that. So, ladies, can we cheers! Thank you guys for watching. Tell somebody. Tune in. Divas and Cocktails Live. This is the bomb.